Brian was one of the largest offenders of this. He'd decorate his content to make it appear as if it were the viral video that many people wanted to click on. Upon clicking, however, they'd be met with his face. He would then preface the viral clip before playing it, and then wrap up the video with his thoughts. This was a smart move in theory, because it not only misled viewers, but also extended his watch time, giving more opportunity for his video to be promoted by the website. And they definitely were promoted, as he began racking up hundreds of thousands of views. With his newfound success, Brian then began looking into making money off of this venture, launching a campaign for YouTube to accept him into their, at the time, just launched YouTube Partner Program. Not willing to accept his status as an unmonetized creator, Brian recruited his friends and fans to spam YouTube staff to the point that they actually let him in, with the lifeinatent channel being deemed eligible for monetization. But even this wasn't enough for Brian, who wished to make a living off of the platform. With his videos now having ads placed on them, Brian began employing bot accounts to further promote his videos. This, combined with his clickbait, finally allowed him to make substantial income from his channel. But naturally, that influx of attention and public campaigning drew the ire of his peers, as other rant channels began looking to criticize him. This included the now deceased Happy Cabby, who generated thousands of views pointing out the misleading nature of Brian's channel.
So you're just talking about the video. You're not actually showing the video. Ah, okay, well I don't want to hear your opinion on the video. I was actually hoping to see the scary prank gone horribly real bad. Okay, so lifeinatent, I hope now you understand what YouTube is talking about when they are talking about misleading thumbnails. I hope that you get it. If you don't, send me a message, I'll be glad to explain it to you.
Perhaps one of the first instances of a now familiar technique, Brian attempted to drown out critics by spamming his own comment sections with random, unrelated information via a number of bot accounts. This was to make it more difficult for detractors to influence his viewers, although in the end, it proved ultimately ineffective. In 2010, a 14-year-old YouTuber named Eric Douglas momentarily became the center of attention when he uploaded a video declaring war against all who opposed Justin Bieber. As you'd expect for a kid his age, he makes laughably extreme threats, such as claiming that he'd hack anyone on the site who continued to mock the teen idol.
We're gonna get your IP, and I can get this information. We're gonna find out who you are, the users of the IP, where you live, and we're gonna get your photo, and we're gonna blast it on the internet, okay? All on our site. It will be full of Justin Bieber haters. We'll have your phone number, your address, all this stuff. And we can get, you'll probably be getting a lot of prank calls and stuff as well, and I'm sure that's the last thing you want, okay?
With the video going to accumulate over 1 million views, the rant community viewed it as a threat to free speech. Be it to capitalize on a viral subject or out of genuine moral principle, Brian uploaded a now lost video responding to him. Many who viewed it at the time felt that he went too far, as he threatened to physically assault Eric. In response, he alluded to legal action, claiming that they'd committed libel. Thankfully, the joke would end up being on Brian, as Eric eventually outed himself as a troll who'd made the videos as rage bait. In 2011, a massive earthquake occurred in Japan that was of such a high magnitude that it was followed by a tsunami. An estimated 20,000 people died, and close to 500,000 were forced to evacuate. Hoping to be one of the first to the story, Brian uploaded a video to his channel attempting to break news of the tragedy. While this alone doesn't seem atypical of a news channel, he closed out the video by saying that his fans should like the video for an epic earthquake.
Anyway, thumbs up this video for epic earthquake, and I'm not trying to make a joke of this. This is a pretty epic sized earthquake. It's a 8.8.
Naturally, this didn't go over super well with the community, as people began pointing out the exploitative nature of his content. It opened up the criticism against his entire channel, as people made video after video railing on him. Following this, he was challenged to a debate by fellow YouTuber Blackbuster Critic, in which Brian ended up making himself look like a fool with his very poor defenses. The infamous debate with Blackbuster also managed to get the attention of a lot of other channels, including Shoe on Head. In a now deleted video, she claims that he is one of the worst people on the platform and that he should leave.
You deserve all this hate you are getting. You bring it upon yourself. Get the fuck off the internet before you hurt yourself or hurt someone else or cry more. Put your damn shoe on your head again. That was hilarious. You are just a terrible human being. No one likes you. No one likes you!
As public opinion of lifeinatent began to shift, people also began to scrutinize Brian more, and in due time, Brian's past grew to haunt his presence as a creator. Pages on Encyclopedia Dramatica and the Rational Wiki were started to document his history of strange and malicious behavior on the internet. At first, it was simply embarrassing posts, such as when he complained about his penis size and asked if there was any way to increase it on a bodybuilding forum. But, soon enough, users began to discover less intrinsic misfortunes. It was discovered that prior to his YouTube endeavor, Brian had been involved in a multitude of illegitimate business practices. This, in particular, involved a site titled MrCashGift.com, dedicated entirely to promoting a scam. Even just in reading the site's front page, it should raise several red flags of fraudulent activity. Welcome, and thank you for visiting the MrCashGift.com website. Right here, at this very time, you are looking for something to do online. Something that is going to change your life right here, right now. Well, let me show you something that is working for me and many others. Let me show you how to start receiving $500 to $1,000 or more in cash right to your door. I mean, it just sounds like a scam, right? But how do we know that this is an illegitimate business practice? Well, apart from the news reports about it, Brian himself later admitted that it was illegal.
And what you're doing, you're talking about the whole cash scams? Listen, buddy, I got out of that a long time ago because I got scammed myself. But you don't know that. Other people don't know that.
That's
you know why?
irrelevant. You know why? Because you still presented the scam to your subscribers.
No, I didn't. No, where do you see that lifeinatent presented the cash scam to my
I saw the
fucking
video.
subscribers?
I saw the video.
As users began to shine a bright light on Brian's dark past, lolcow sites such as Encyclopedia Dramatica started to archive his long history of internet misconduct. Given that this entailed documentation of past scams, legal threats, and other public outbursts, he was desperate to have them removed. In 2011, a Facebook page entitled lifeinatent was created to spread awareness of Brian, while also mocking him. In response, he began slandering each of its moderators individually, as well as mass reporting their accounts until it was deleted. None of this, however, would be enough to stop the inevitable repercussion of his actions. In October of 2011, the lifeinatent channel was terminated due to multiple severe violations of YouTube's policy against spam and misleading content. Of course, you'd be foolish to think that he'd simply give up there. In fact, all of this wouldn't even begin to compare to his most elaborate attempt to strike back at his critics, a stunt so scandalous that it even received news coverage. It's a story that involves stalking, nearly $1,000 in metric manipulation, and someone who he thought to be the love of his life. A major source of controversy that I've neglected to mention up until this point was Brian's girlfriend at the time, Megan Lee. With 5 YouTube channels of her own, you can probably infer that she was someone that valued quantity over quality. Megan was infamous at the time for being a reply girl, a creator, typically female, who abused YouTube's video response feature to get views. Much in the same way that Brian abused the algorithm, masquerading his content as viral videos, reply girls would copy the tags and descriptions of the original to ensure their video was recommended next. Rather than use misleading thumbnails, they'd edit a still from their video to appear more enticing. This ranged from wearing low-cut shirts to photoshopping their cleavage. She became so synonymous with the reply girl name that to this day, a search of the term brings up 2 very unflattering caricatures of her. In many ways, Brian and Megan were a parasitic power couple, with the former even being responsible for the latter's enhanced thumbnails. Also, like her boyfriend, Megan was just as prone to outbursts, becoming infamous herself for responding to competitors with death threats. Do not copy my description. It is rude and disrespectful. If you ever try me, bitch, I will make sure you die in cold fucking blood. I know where you and your family live. I'm not fucking kidding. You don't see me fucking with you in your life, so don't fuck with me. If I ever see that you do this again, I will have you hacked. That last sentence is important. While unlikely to follow through with the threat of cold-blooded murder, her claim of having the competition hacked was not just plausible, but perhaps far more genuine than even the recipient believed at the time. While it's uncertain who this message was directed towards, a reasonable guess would be a YouTuber simply known as the Reply Girl. Throughout 2011, the couple spent months harassing her simply because she was an on-site competitor. Likely to give Megan an upper hand, they demanded she begin censoring her thumbnails, and went so far as to stalk her Facebook on sock puppet accounts. She also publicized the Reply Girl's personal traumas, such as a deceased ex-partner. They even attempted to make a formal argument to YouTube to have her removed, apparently not realizing that Megan would necessarily be caught in the crossfire. This wasn't a one-time incident either. They repeated this pattern over and over again, demanding other reply girls stop doing viral video reviews because Megan owned it. Maybe they were right. As mentioned before, Megan became synonymous with the genre as a figurehead, so in a way, she did own it. As a result, when the public began to lambaste reply girls for exploiting the algorithm, this became a double-edged sword, as many then directly satirized her and her image.
Hey everybody, I saw a video.
But anyway, this goes out to Megan Speaks, the reply girl, whoever the fuck is making these videos. I'm sorry, when I click on a video and I want to see maybe, some related videos that have something to do with Minecraft or something else, and all I see is your tits or your Photoshop enhanced tits over here on the freaking the side for related videos, it annoys the fuck out of me.
In early 2012, the couple began fighting back against the onslaught of mockery directed towards Megan. Upset that creators such as the Yogscast and OniNG were liking videos that mocked her, she attempted to pull strings behind the scenes to have them punished. Using her connections at Machinima, she emailed a representative asking to have the video removed. They responded that they would have the thumbnail striked for using her likeness. Unsatisfied that it wasn't entirely deleted, however, Brian took to Twitter to threaten VidCon. He writes that VidCon will not be fun this year, noting that they'll survive the threats, but will need better security. This was seen as significant enough of a threat that Hank Green himself commented on the video, stating that they'd be taking appropriate steps to dealing with them. Less than a week later, a series of leaked Skype chat logs would reveal the full extent of Brian and Megan's attempts to have their competitors terminated from YouTube. These leaks would be covered extensively in an article by the Daily Dot, where they were compared to a modern-day equivalent of Bonnie and Clyde. From the leaks, Brian can be seen a day after the email to Machinima was sent plotting to have the Yogscast and other critics IP banned from the site. His plan was to pay to have their videos view-botted in order to make their growth appear illegitimate to administrators. An email receipt shows that he paid $920 for 500,000 views to be distributed to their targets. The article didn't end its investigation there, however. The author then details their track record of botting, even noting that both of them had been previously banned from the site for spam and deceptive practices. They then revealed that they reported all of their findings to YouTube directly. Scared of the couple, they asked to be kept anonymous, stating simply, "Botting isn't welcome here, so we're working to get this resolved quickly." In 2012, Brian returned to YouTube on a number of different accounts, wanting to rebuild his brand in some way. However, all of these attempts were unsuccessful. As of that time, everyone on the platform still remembered all of the crazy shit he had done and his very strange activities on and off platform. It was at this time that the Futuristic Hub channel was created, taking off in the following years. It's also believed that Brian and Megan split up at some point in 2018 or 2019, as he is currently married to the aforementioned Holly. While he has managed to create a new brand, Brian evidently has been unable to move on from his typical behavior of making bad content and then crying when people don't like it. As shown before, this has since totaled to a mountain of terrible shit he's done to his critics. All stuff he wants to remain hidden, which I guess I understand. If I had done this many terrible fucking things, I definitely want it to be hidden as well. I definitely wouldn't harass kids online when they make fun of me. I definitely wouldn't send them fake legal threats and tell them that I would try to ruin their careers. But Brian obviously does, because his ego is so fragile that he can't stand someone calling his cringy animations, well, cringy. If it hadn't been for what happened to Wacky TV, it's unlikely that I would have even looked into this story and the long list of shenanigans that Brian has gotten himself into. Instead, in his attempt to hide away from people who don't like what he does, he only opened the door for a plethora of other information about him to get out. And, believe it or not, this is only a portion of the information available about Brian, and his twin brother, and the various crimes they have been responsible for over the years. Believe me, folks, some of the most damning material is yet to come. But more on that in part 2. Thanks for watching. I've been Turkey Tom, and until next time, leave me alone.